Das Perfekt, Teil 1. This is the first part where you'll be learning the basics of how to build a sentence in the past tense. Let's first go through the learning objectives. We'll first go through the different tenses in German. Finally, we'll come to what is perfect. Then we'll be learning how to form sentences in perfect. In lesson 41, we did the three tenses: die Vergangenheit, die Gegenwart, and die Zukunft. And since we are doing only the past tense, let's go through the various forms of past tense. Vergangenheit. In German, there are three forms of Vergangenheit. There is Plusquamperfekt, there is Präteritum, and there is Perfekt. Plusquamperfekt comes at a later stage, whereas Präteritum you will be doing in A2. The Präteritum for sein and haben you have learned in lesson 41. If you want to revise them, you can go through our video on the same. The link is given below in the description. So, was ist perfekt? It is the present perfect tense, and it is most commonly used in the spoken language. You might also find it in private and half-formal letters. There are three aspects of perfect. You should learn how to formulate the sentence. One has to learn how to use the various helping verbs. And thirdly, how to formulate the past participle of the verb. In this lesson, we'll just be dealing with the first part. How is the sentence structure in past tense? Let's first look at a few sentences in present tense and in the past tense. Ich esse einen Salat. Once I'm done eating, it's in the past. Then you will say, Ich habe einen Salat gegessen. Let's move on to the next example. Wir fahren nach Paris. When something like this has already happened, you would say, Wir sind letzte Woche nach Paris gefahren. Here's another example. Er spielt mit seinem Hund. Once he's done playing, this activity is in the past. So you will say, Er hat mit seinem Hund gespielt. Let's look at another example. Sie studiert Philosophie. Now this is what is currently happening. Something that has already taken place. Then you would say, Sie hat Philosophie studiert. Now let's analyze two of these sentences. Ich habe einen Salat gegessen. Wir sind letzte Woche nach Paris gefahren. When making a sentence in perfect, you have to make sure that there is a Hilfsverb in the second position. Hilfsverb can either be haben or sein. And these are the verbs which are conjugated. Why do some sentences have haben as Hilfsverb and why the others have sein als Hilfsverb? This we'll be doing in the next chapter. In present tense, the verbs are generally in the second position. But in perfect, these verbs move towards the end of the sentence. And it also takes a different form. We use the Partizip 2 form of this verb. Partizip 2 is the past participle form of the verb. In these two sentences, gegessen is the Partizip 2 for essen and gefahren is the Partizip 2 for fahren. In a later chapter, we learn how to form the Partizip 2 for various verbs. Always learn the Partizip 2 of a verb along with its helping verb. For example, essen hat gegessen. Fahren ist gefahren. Now let's look at two different types of questions in perfect. W-Frage. Was hast du gestern gemacht? In this question, the position of the helping verb and the Partizip 2 is the same as the normal sentence. That means the Hilfsverb ist in Position 2 and Partizip 2 ist am Ende. Let's see what happens when we have a Ja-Nein-Frage. Hast du gestern etwas gegessen? In this case, the helping verb or the Hilfsverb will be in the first position. Don't forget to conjugate the verb. At the end of the sentence, you will find the Partizip 2 of the verb. Now let's look at an example mit trennbaren Verben. In the present tense, the sentence looks like this. Tanja ruft ihren Freund an. In the second position is the verb and the prefix is at the end. Now the sentence in perfect. Tanja hat ihren Freund angerufen. Here also we will have the helping verb in the second position. Das trennbare Verb will go at the end, but in the Partizip 2 form. Do notice that a Partizip 2 of trennbare Verben is formed differently. What happens when we have a modal verb in the sentence? Ich bin krank. Ich bin krank. Ich muss zum Arzt gehen. In past tense you would say Ich war krank. Ich musste zum Arzt gehen. In this case, the modal verb is in the second position and musste is the Präteritum form of the modal verb. This is because whenever a modal verb is there, you generally use its Präteritum form and not perfect. And since the sentence has a modal verb, the other verb will be in infinitive placed at the end. You will be learning the Präteritum for modal Verben in Art 2. So how do you use perfect? You use haben and sein as a helping verb in the second position, plus Partizip 2 of the main verb which is placed at the end of the sentence. So here is a list of verbs and their perfect form that we have done in this lesson. Essen, hat gegessen. Fahren, ist gefahren. Spielen, hat gespielt. Studieren, hat studiert. Machen, hat gemacht. Anrufen, hat angerufen. Now let's do a small exercise. Übung. You will be seeing a few parts of a sentence. You have to bring them together to formulate the correct one. All these sentences are imperfect. Here's the first one. As you can see a question mark, this will be a question. Since this is a Ja-Nein-Frage, you will have the Hilfsverb in the first position. Hast du deine Hausaufgabe gemacht? The Partizip 2 will be at the end of the sentence. Great! Now try to do the next one. And this is how your answer should be. Subject in the first place. Ich followed by the helping verb habe. Ich habe nur 3 Stunden geschlafen. Sehr gut. And here's the last one. And your answer should look like this. Am Freitag sind wir ins Kino gegangen. Well, you can also say wir sind am Freitag ins Kino gegangen. Sehr gut. So in the next 2 lessons, you'll be learning how to use the Hilfsverb haben oder sein and how to form Partizip 2 of various verbs.